Welcome, friends. We're gonna go through SLKR's journey for tier 4, 5, and 6. This video is going to have a little bit more technicality to it because of SLKR's kit. There's a lot in there, and there's some do's and don'ts with his kit that you have to be very careful with. Otherwise, you could end up screwing yourself. I am going to show you with my SLKR. Obviously, he's Relic 7 and 6 zetas. Really, the only ones that you need are Stasis Strike and Galactic Legend are the only major ones you need for the ultimate. But yeah, so for these two, literally I did them at Gear 12. And then Tier 6, I had to do at Relic 4 when I first did the event. So I'd say that's your minimum is Gear 12, Relic 4. But you need Stasis Strike. Stasis Strike is like the absolute Zeta for the first two. And then Galactic Legend is the one that you need for the final one. I did pull off some mods for this, so that way, you know, I could show you guys kind of the minimum for everything, of course. So, when it comes to Kylo Ren, with Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, part of his kit, which is super weird because this game is so much about taking turns as fast as possible, has a problem in it right here. Whenever a dark side ally loses turn meter, they gain 10% of their current max health and max protection stacking, which is great. So if people are reducing your turn meter, you gain bonuses. But whenever a dark side ally gains bonus turn meter, they lose 10% of their current max health and max protection, meaning you'll slowly make your teammates weaker and weaker until they eventually die. So that means when you're using SLKR, please never use Kylo Ren. Please never use Phasma. They will pump so much turn meter into the team that it'll kill off the team. This team is the best team when it comes to just first order units. And this is what we'll be using. If you're going to be mirror matching SLKRs, most people use this. This is an amazing team. This is what most people use. But this event becomes easier, and a lot of events like Conquest become easier if you use this lineup with First Order Officer. So the speeds that you're going to want, I have them at 533 right now. I usually keep them around 578, but that's much higher than most people would have it when they first get him. But you want him above 525. The person that you're fighting is GL Ray, and her speed is 525, so you need at least 526 to take first turn. Is it necessary for you to take first turn? The answer is no. Does it make your life a little easier? Yes. Not necessary, but helpful. And then as for the rest of them, Kylo Ren, same mods we had before. We're really not trying to do anything special here. I even pulled off a mod from this guy just to put on Supreme Leader, so that way I had the right modding. Him, obviously, I've taken a whole lot off of him. 235. So basically, with the Officer and the Hux, this is the subtle nuance that we got to talk about. Officer and Hux. You need Officer to be above 230 speed, and you need Hux to be above 230 speed. But you need Officer slightly faster. So in this case, I actually got really close on the nail. 235 speed. And then Hux, I have at 234 speed. And this allows for a really interesting turn order with Supreme Leader Kylo Ren that will make this many times easier. So even if your Supreme Leader Kylo Ren doesn't take first turn, this will make life so much easier. In fact, I will remove another mod from Supreme Leader Kylo Ren just to show you guys that you don't need to take first turn. Let's remove that one. So now I'm not going to take first turn by any means. That's 483. So I will take second turn. But just to show you how important these guys are in this way. First Order Officer, First Order Stormtrooper, just defense mods, you know, just whatever. Really not much, anything that's to worry about. But yeah, so in this first tier, it's actually super interesting because it's Galactic Legends Rey, but without her full kit. And so she can actually be stunned with Stasis Strike, which is great. That just means you can just keep her under stun for the whole match. And she's like, oh no, you took first turn. Well, anyways, and so When you use that middle ability, when you use Stasis Strike, you gain Siphon. So Siphon 40 is what you start out with. And so he will now siphon 40%, because it's 1% per stack, 40% of their mastery every time that he uses his last ability. And so because we have it, so Officer goes just before Hux, we can now pass the turn back to Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, which means he immediately gets to use this ability, which actually siphons for the number that you have above his head. So that'll siphon 40% off of Rey, which is amazing. But now Hux takes a turn, which means he passes it back to SLKR, who now has his cooldowns back. So now we can stun Finn. And now we'll just use our final stun on him. And then at this point, we just kind of work our way through. Yeah, let's full in on her. You're always going to want to siphon from Rey, because you want her stats to go down as much as possible. Because as you siphon, you pull stats from them, and then you add them to him. So he will gain more offense. And we'll pass the turn back to you. And sure. So now he'll go up to 120. So now he's siphoning 120% of their overall stuff. It gets to a point where you can actually get their mastery to 0, to the point where like you'll have them not able to hit anything. You'll dodge every single attack. It's really dumb. But yeah, that's it. Tier 5, the only difference, it's the same thing, except they give you an event ability that I don't actually use, because honestly it takes away a turn that I could be doing other things with. And then they make it so Galactic Legends Rey can no longer be stunned, which is how her kit actually works. So, same team, same mods, same everything. She takes first turn, oh no. She also did basic, which is interesting. So this time, because she can't be stunned, we're going to start with a Stasis Strike on Finn. So Finn is now under stun. We're now going to pass the turn back to SLKR. We'll siphon from Rey. And we'll try to pass the turn back to SLKR. And we will Stasis Strike Poe. So that right there is called a Sudden Whirlwind. It deals tons of damage, so don't be surprised if your tanks die from her Sudden Whirlwinds. She can only activate it once you've taken one of her allies down to 50% health. Honestly, it's not something to worry about. You have 2 tanks for a reason. Siphon from Rey. Sure, full on Rey. I'm not really worried about the other guys right now because they're still under stun, so let's remove some turn meters just for fun. Stasis Strike on him. Okay, so there's another Sudden Whirlwind. Pass it back to him. We're just still going to Stasis Strike, even though he's already stunned. We're locking in stun again, but that also builds up his Siphon. So you just want to constantly be building his Siphon. The more Siphon he has, the more he's going to steal stats, the more damage he'll do, and you're basically just going to keep building up. At this point, I don't have anything, but the basic does a lot of damage, so we'll go with basic and finish her off. Super, super easy. You can do it at gear 12. You just have to basically keep siphoning from Rey, and you'll be fine. This last tier, obviously, is the ultimate tier. I suggest at least Relic 4. With Stasis Strike and Galactic Legend, you could probably do it with just Stasis Strike, but Stasis Strike and Galactic Legend. Obviously, if you've watched my last video, you'll obviously have Hux's Zeta as well. Force Sword or Stormtrooper Zeta is good. You should get it at some point. Not necessary for this piece. Same with Kylo Ren unmasks either of his Zetas. All you need is Stasis Strike and then maybe Galactic Legend if you can spare it. Same team. Same speeds, same everything. Okay, and so this is basically the same thing, except Rey's entire kit is fully activated, except for her ultimate. And so you are basically just trying to play against a Rey as Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. Same thing as before. except there's one new mechanic. This ability that they give us is now good. It didn't used to be good before. It is now good in this tier. So in tier 6, you're always going to use this ability when it shows up. So you'll click it, and then click on SLKR. You now get a bonus turn. And during that bonus turn, you get extra damage, basically. I will now do the same thing I did before. Stasis Strike Finn. I will then pass the turn back to him. I'm going to Siphon from Ray. And then I will pass the turn. And now we're going to stun Poe. Oh, we have the ability. So hold on, we'll use the ability first. And then we'll poke Poe. Sweet. Okay. This stuff, this blue thing that looks like an explosion with a guy in it, you're always going to want to try and take that off. You can only take it off by critting on them. I didn't crit, so I didn't get it. But if you can get it off them, she gets bonuses based on if they have inspiration. So we once again siphon from Ray. Now that he's hit 50% health, he'll have damage immunity, so we have to wait for him to take a turn to be able to hurt him again. I'm going to see if I can get Ray into damage immunity. Not quite. Oh, that was from the Zeta from First Order Stormtrooper. Super helpful, but not necessary. Our first tank is down. Don't worry, we're still fine. Not to worry, we're still flying half a ship. We're going to keep building our siphon. Pass it back, and we'll build our siphon a little bit more by hitting him. There goes our other tank. We're gonna use the ability again, and we will siphon from Ray once again. And we are now down one more person. And we are going to keep building our siphon. And this is what happens a lot of the time. This is kind of poor RNG, of course. But this will happen a lot, where it just kind of comes down to you and her and no one else. And that's fine. You'll still be able to get her eventually. It's literally going to... Yeah, so right there. Did you see that dodge? That is a sign that we've taken so much mastery from her that her mastery is hitting close to 0. So she's not going to be able to hit anything anymore. Sudden Whirlwind can't be dodged. And so at this point, we're just going to keep siphoning from her until eventually she dies. That is all the rest of this is. Yeah, sometimes this will take forever. This is support poor RNG, so it is taking a very long time. But honestly, it doesn't matter because every time we hit her, she's losing stats, and so she won't be able to hit us for very much, so we're going to heal for it, as well as we'll be dealing more damage. And so as you can see, we'll eventually get through all that protection. And at this point, it's just, honestly, I'm just going to basic. Yeah, because the basic is what deals the most damage. And there you go, there's your tier 6. So, tier 6, don't be surprised if you're down to just SLKR, but at that point, you've siphoned enough stats that you shouldn't have any problems whatsoever. But yeah, that's the last 3 tiers of the event. So, to kind of summarize, Stasis Strike is what you need to start the first 2 tiers. So tier 4 and tier 5 with SLKR, and at least gear 12. And then for tier 6, you're going to need at least Relic 4 with Stasis Strike and Galactic Legend preferably. And then at that point, you should have no problems with tier 6. The speeds that you need is, if you want SLKR to go first, you need him over 525. That is what Ray is at. If you want the Officer and Hux to go before Finn and Poe, they need to be over 230 speed. And then make sure you tier them so First Order Officer goes first, and then Hux goes second. And that will allow you to do that cheese where you have SLKR poke Finn, and then it gets passed back to him, he siphons, and then Hux passes, poke, siphon, and you can just kind of keep repeating that until they're all dead. But yeah, that's the entire strategy, and I haven't had a loss on this since I first played it way back a year ago. But hopefully you guys find success and enjoy this video. And if you like this kind of content and are looking for more minimum gear guides or anything else in Galaxy of Heroes, hit that subscribe button. I'm so happy to make these videos. It's so much fun. But you guys have a great day, and I will see you guys in the next video.